Instagram. This is THS Lives, and we are live tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah. And special treat, Mike Lombardo will be doing the full Monty towards the end of this episode.
Absolutely.
To me making a beatbox with my hands and mouth. But I'm really excited to be back. I know it's been a while, and we got the rest of the crew here. You can follow me on Instagram at The Horror Jew or Twitter at The Horror Jew. You can follow me on Facebook at Brian Enright. Up next, we have, here we go, Jared Letourneau. Let's see if this works.
The moment of
Jared,
truth.
oh, man, why is this not? I don't know. I don't get this. Why this is just.
It's the moment of truth.
Oh, no. You know what it is? I unmuted the wrong thing. Jared, you can talk now. Good evening, Jared.
Good evening, Brian, and all the boils and ghouls in Facebook land and YouTube. You guys can find me at zombie_survivor on Twitter. Back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Jared. Up next, we have award-winning director, Mike Lombardo. Mike, good evening.
Huh? Who are you? Is that Brian Enright of the Monty musical fame?
That is.
Oh my God! I didn't recognize you with your clothes on.
I know.
Well, shit.
Well, we'll have to change that tonight, all right?
I'm doing okay. I've got some fun things to talk about, and yeah, playing through the Umbrella Chronicles, for the Wii, the Resident Evil light gun shooter with Lex right now. So I bought my old roommate's Wii for $10, and I had those games from years ago. So been revisiting those, so it's fun. Somewhat.
If only they were real guns to shoot yourself in the face.
Yeah, that's how I feel some days.
Well, you know what? At least it's not Survivor.
Yeah, that game you can beat in 17 minutes. Game's garbage. I have it.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike. And up next, of course, the man himself, our president, Ray Merrick. Ray, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. How are you? I moved my camera, so I'm trying to remember to look at. You can follow me on the Instagram. It's Razor33. There's no mic up there, so there's no reason for me to lean in.
I'm right here.
We got a mic right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only mic I have. All right. I'm glad to be back on Facebook Live. I'll tell you that much.
Me too. I mean, you guys have been killing it on YouTube lately. I've been looking at my phone after rehearsals, and I look at you guys like on my phone before I crash in the first 5 minutes of each episode.
Could you dream about us then?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you guys are in my lucid dreamings, but I get to watch you guys the following morning while I'm working and doing the wrong houses. You know, and then. But yeah, no, I'm glad to be back. I missed you guys. The full Monty was a great experience.
Salute to you and your amazing performance.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad that I got to sing and act and show my wiener in front of my mother.
How many times did she see it? That's the question.
Oh, my mother saw it once. My wife saw it once.
Only once?
Only once. Yeah, I took her to opening night. I took her out to dinner. And then I took
about the show. I was like,
no, my wife, the mother of my child has never seen my penis. Can you believe that? Yeah. I don't know how we had a kid.
Well, it was inside, not on the outside, so she just stare at it.
Exactly. Don't just stare at it, eat it.
Is it supposed to look like that?
So speaking about penises and going to full Monty, Terrifier 2 went to full Monty the past 3 days. Terrifier 2 has made over $100,000 through their Indiegogo, and that was 116,000 now.
Yeah.
So they released this on Tuesday, right? Tuesday morning. And in fact, the movie is fully funded. In case everyone was wondering what is going on with Terrifier, this is not a fundraiser for the movie to be in, to get into production. That's already done. It looks like they had a studio come in and, obviously give them the whole cake. But this, the money that they're raising is for a specific scene. And in the video, on the Indiegogo video itself, they talk about it being kind of like parallel to the big prom scene in Carrie. So I wonder if there is going to be a homecoming dance or something like that, or a prom where Art the Clown just doesn't win the Queen Award, the prom queen award, so he blows everyone up. But that's what this money is for. It's for this one scene in particular that Damien and David are the only people who know about it, and they're really excited for this scene to happen. And that's what the Indiegogo is for. And they had a couple of things on there, such as the Blu-ray and DVD that were starting at $75. I think the Blu-ray was $100.
85 for a DVD, 100 for a Blu-ray, which
85.
is a bargain if you ask me.
But what we're going to talk all about it. There is a divide in the fandom right now, not just fandom, but in the indie horror world. A lot of indie horror artists and filmmakers are pretty upset about how a movie such as Terrifier 2 is fully funded, and just even though it's funded, they still happen to make $116,000 more than that funding. So we'll get all into it. I know you guys are huge Terrifier fans and All Hallows Eve fans, so we'll get into this. I want to hear from Jared.
Well, when I first I was under the impression it was funding the actual movie, like some of us were, and then Mike pointed out the other day in our little group chat that we have.
Nobody's supposed to know about our group chat.
Oh,
Come on.
I forgot.
Relax on that. We don't talk ever. Go ahead.
We pointed out that it was, like Brian alluded to, that it was basically for this one huge special effects scene. And I went back and looked at the Indiegogo page the other day, and kind of the director also kind of alluded to that this extra money could help provide another horror icon or a horror legend to the cast of the movie.
Lou Ferrigno, they already announced it.
Lou Ferrigno.
Big Louie.
So if that's the case too, I can understand that. But
I got to pee next to him once. It was pretty cool.
yeah, man, he probably takes up 2 urinals. Good God.
He did. His penis did, though. Snakes around.
But
Snakes
like
that.
the biggest gripe I have with it, honestly, I applaud them for being able to make that kind of money. That's fucking crazy. But the perks, like we said, like the $85 DVD and the $100 Blu-ray, we all work for a living. I could go out and buy a blank, when it comes out on Blu-ray, and take it to a convention and get it signed for cheaper than that.
True.
What the fuck?
Well, they didn't even offer a non-signed version, which I don't need to get my Blu-ray signed. The only Blu-ray I have signed is signed by PJ and Eric from the Volumes of Blood, because they're trying to get me to make a comic book of their movie.
Yeah. It's still okay to me that they were able to raise that, but I think they kind of maybe threw the towel over everybody's head and kind of got away with something a little bit, in my opinion.
Look, I'm not buying. It'll be a cold day in hell when I pay $100 for a fucking Blu-ray of anything. First off,
Yeah.
All right, I'll tell you that right fucking now. I am not spending $100 on anything. I'm not a fucking chump. I spent that $100 on the coffee mug.
Right. That's the only way to go.
Coffee mugs are hard to come by, especially $100 ones.
I know. So I bought the coffee mug so when they do the Kickstarter to fund the opening credit sequence for Terrifier 3, I can spit my drink out of the mug at the computer screen.
Or you can, dump out your whiskey and say cheap and bitch on the computer.
I could.
That's what I like to do. Mike, why is your face not showing up?
Whose?
I can't even hear Mike.
What?
Hear me?
I can hear him okay. But that's kind of the impression I got from the Indiegogo all around. Is I feel like they kind of just threw the towel over everybody and kind of got away with something because, when you go into those, a lot of times people don't read the description of the actual thing for the fundraiser.
Look for the best. Well, me, when I look at a Kickstarter or Indiegogo, I look for the tier that I want the most. I generally don't read the description, but now I'm going to.
Right.
I did not back it. I'm not going to back that movie. They've got plenty of money.
Yeah, they do.
You know, and if anything, it would have been for a DVD, and I would pay it up to $35, maybe $40 for a DVD or a Blu-ray, but I'd never pay $100 for that's out of control. I did get that 80s doc that's coming out. That was the highest I'll ever pay for anything like that, and it was like $50 or $60. Although I did pre-order the Omen series for $63, but that's 5 movies.
Yeah, and one of them is good. So
no, I like all the first 4 for sure. The remake was just okay.
What was the one that was made for Lifetime? Which one was that?
Made for a Lifetime. Was there a 5th one?
The 4th one's a TV movie, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like she's like the daughter of Damien or something like that, because he gets killed off in the final conflict.
I mean, I probably don't need them. I have every single one of them. Gene and Karen York are the living embodiment of the American dream.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to read. So.
All right, so anyway, so all seriousness, though, on that Terrifier thing, it irks the shit out of me. Not because, so first of all, I'm not a fan of Terrifier. I don't like the movie. I think that it's really, really generic.
Special effects are good.
That's the thing. It's the movie. The movie is just an effects reel. It's not a movie.
Well, that's not just. David was really good as art.
Well, no, I was about to get to that. Like he's good. Like so here's the thing. Let me just preface all this by saying I have no problem with Damien, is that the director, and then David, who plays the clown. I have no problem with them personally. Like I don't know them. They seem like nice guys, and I'm happy that they were able to make a movie that got this popular and that they are doing a sequel as well. Like that's cool. I love seeing indie movies get successful like that. That's good. I just don't like the movie. I don't like the first movie. I watched it. I went into it completely open-minded, and I thought that it was incredibly generic, really mean-spirited, not fun slasher movie that has no plot whatsoever. Like it was within 20 minutes, I was ready to turn it off, and I'm like, this is really not good.
Can we talk about?
But honey, please. Sorry, I have the peanut gallery chiming in next to me.
Honey, please.
So I was not a fan of the movie, but I was like, whatever. You know, I've seen worse. The effects were spectacular, like really, really excellent practical effects, great performances, art, but no plot. It wasn't a fucking movie. It does not fulfill the base necessity of being a movie. They could have just made that into like the special features of like the old Jason DVDs where you can just skip to a kill. Like it literally could have been a gore montage and it would have been the same fucking thing. So I guess my irk with all this is the fans, not necessarily the filmmakers, because I don't understand why people are willing to pay this kind of money for shit, because it sets a precedent for other filmmakers to also do this, and that's really annoying.
I agree.
And it's not the filmmaker's fault that people are too dumb to read the Kickstarter description. Like, I would never give money to anything without reading the whole description. I do think that it wasn't as explicitly stated as it could have been, but I mean, it's all there. Like, if anyone gets mad about the paying the money for it, you know, they should be reading these things before they do it. But having said that, I think the perks are fucking outrageous. Like $100 Blu-ray is insane, and
they're
that's
all sold out of each one of them too, I believe.
Well, and if they're only doing 25 of each, then they're going to be burned discs. They're not even going to be like retail, like replicated discs, which makes it even shittier because half the players won't play the damn things. And like you said, you can get the autographs at a convention and pay the money and still get it cheaper if you just do that. And I understand people are like, oh, but I want to help make the movie, but you're not. The movie was already funded. Yeah. They were given the golden ticket. And then they came back and they're like, oh, actually, we want $50,000 more for a single scene. A single fucking scene. What the hell could that scene possibly be that they needed $50,000 to do it in an indie movie? You could make 3 Terrifier movies for that much money. And now, like...
You can make 11 White Doomsdays with that money.
I could. And also, here's the other thing, too. Me bitching about this, I have no skin in the game. I have no Kickstarter running. I have never run a Kickstarter. So I don't have sour grapes that they're making more money than I did in my attempt because I never had an attempt. I just hate to see all that money going to something so derivative when there's 1,000 better indie movies that are trying to get funding and have to struggle because nobody wants to support something unique or original. And Terrifier is certainly neither of those things.
Well, look at Volumes of Blood. They can't get funded for a third one.
I mean, Terrifier is like as stock generic as it comes with slasher stuff. Like I don't understand the whole thing. So again, I applaud the filmmakers and stuff for being able to do it. That's great. Their movie's successful. I don't begrudge them that. But I have a problem with the people that support this kind of thing. It's like, why? Why is someone dropping like $5,000 on a perk for that? Like,
for one scene.
Because it's not like when you see some of these Kickstarters, like, let's just say like the Barn 2, for instance, even that barely funded until the end. But it's like, you think, okay, maybe the crowdfunding is capped out. Maybe there's just not enough people. There's not enough money. But then something like this happens, and it's like, no, there's definitely enough people. They just don't want to fucking support anything. Unless it's this. And that's what frustrates me so much. It's like, why are you all getting behind this? Like, killer clowns were generic in the 80s. Like, it's been played out so many fucking times. Like, why do we need more of this?
Well,
So do you think that the popularity of this movie has to do with things like Netflix? Because Netflix, as soon as this went to Netflix, everybody knew about it, and everybody started following the Art the Clown page and everything like that.
The horror selection on Netflix used to be amazing. Like, back when there were physical discs, now there's like 7 movies. So, of course, everyone's going to fucking freak out over it. There's literally nothing of quality on there half the time.
No, you're right.
And Terrifier is not a poorly made movie. Like, it's a well put together movie from a technical standpoint. It's just not a good movie. But again, I mean, so I don't know. I'm rambling now, but I guess my problem is again, it's not the movie. It's just that this is what the horror community gets behind. Like something this trashy and derivative. This is what people are willing to throw $115,000 in 2 days at, when original stuff that is struggling to get made will never get made because these people want to pay $100 for a fucking coffee mug for a movie that was already funded. It just, I don't know. It just seems kind of shitty to me.
Eyeballs are itching.
It seems like you need a surge, Mike.
I do need a surge. I absolutely need a surge.
I want an Ecto Cooler, goddamn.
I burned myself on Ecto Cooler when that came back. I bought too much.
Yeah, we've had that conversation, haven't we? You bought like 7.
I had like 9 or 10, and I had 11 cases of it that people said.
I can still taste that orange tang aftertaste.
I can taste Mike's sour grapes from here.
I got Gozer's Revenge from drinking so much of that. It's not Montezuma's Revenge. It was Gozer's Revenge. It was terrible. But yeah, anyway, I don't know. It irritates me. And, especially I'm watching all these people like shitting on the Child's Play remake, and like that was actually good. And it's like, oh, you people are so mad. Like, we want stuff. We want original stuff. And then when they take a completely different avenue with that, people flip out. But then they want, Terrifier 2, which is like the most base level entertainment imaginable. So
I hope you don't mind. I want to chime in. I want to be like the devil's advocate here for Terrifier 2. Like Ray was saying earlier, like, the popularity of this movie really was affected because it was on Netflix, and everyone and their mother goes on Netflix nowadays, and that's where the original content. People are used to Netflix. They're comfortable with the way that Netflix is laid out, and of course, when a horror movie such as Terrifier comes out, it gets streamed the most because it's something that's cool and unique, and no one else has seen it before. And I think that because Terrifier was on Netflix, and because it's such an interesting and unique movie where the killer really appeals to the general audience, because David does one hell of a job performing as Art the Clown, makes that movie extremely entertaining through his performance alone. And I think that because we still live in a time where people are still afraid to strafe away from Netflix to go find better horror movies on Amazon Prime, or just go to a completely cheaper horror streaming service, which is not on the PlayStation, but is Shudder. And Shudder, you can watch the best horror movies on Shudder for $5 a month.
I'm watching Phantom of the Paradise right now on Shudder.
Yeah, and I think the general population is comfortable with Netflix, and they're always looking for the next horror movie to watch on Netflix. And of course, it's a date movie and everything. Everyone gets together, but you see, like, when you first look on the cover art of the file for Terrifier, it's Art the Clown, so that draws people in. Now, another thing that really helps out is the conventions. Whenever you go to a convention and you see David Howard Thornton at the convention. Now we're at the point where people know who he is, and they know he's Art the Clown. He's the next Freddy. He's this time's Freddy Krueger.
See,
like,
but is he really?
Yes.
I liked his performance well enough, but he doesn't.
But you got
that interesting.
Here's the way you sound right now is the exact same way that Siskel and Ebert sounded when New Line came out with Nightmare on Elm Street, when Paramount came out with Friday the 13th. There was nothing like the original horror movies that they known and loved, such as Psycho, or anything else that that really became like mainstream. We're living in a different time where the younger generations and the people who are so used to watching Netflix see Art the Clown, and they say this is our times, this is our modern time Freddy Krueger, and they will live by it. And whenever they go to convention, when they see David Howard Thornton, they say to themselves, this is Freddy Krueger. This is our Robert Englund. My kids love him because my kids have been watching Terrifier. Their friends have been watching Terrifier. Everyone and their mother who has a Netflix account will watch Terrifier in the horror community, and that's why the movie got funded. They didn't care. This movie is so powerful that no one will read the fucking description. And I'm not saying that they're stupid. I'm not saying that they're smart. I'm not saying that they're stupid. But as soon as they see something comes up that is representing their like new favorite thing, they're gonna spend money, and they don't care what the fucking description.
So to pose another side to this, do you think maybe it's horror fans being basic, trying to find a new character to latch on to?
I don't think it's we can say that, but I don't think it's just horror fans. I think it's the general public.
I don't think it's the general public. I think it's specifically horror fans.
It's the same thing with The Walking Dead. Everyone's a horror fan when something becomes popular. It usually starts with the general public. When The Walking Dead came out, it really drew the attention of horror fans. And it maybe like season 2 was when it really started bringing in like the general public who weren't really horror fans. Then next thing you know, Monster Mania is packed. Days of the Dead is packed, and then you have a Walker Stalker Con, which is generally focused on the Walking Dead cast.
The Walking Dead appeals to a mainstream audience because of the apocalypse, like the survival fantasy that everybody has. That's why Daryl is so popular.
Mm-hmm.
Terrifier it's too ugly for mainstream audiences. It's a nasty movie. I've never met a normal person that watched and liked that movie. I've only ever heard of hardcore horror fans getting into it.
So would you think that
he skins the chest off of a woman and wears it? I think that normal people probably have tuned out.
So with Netflix,
the man on lantern.
with Terrifier being on Netflix, do you think that the general public is now evolving into something much more sinister and accepting movies such as Terrifier with its sinister carnage and blood and gore, and that this is just something that's normal to them? I mean, you can look at it like this way.
I think that Netflix gave it a wider platform than most indie movies get a shot at, and then
for sure.
Out of 7 movies, how many million subscribers to Netflix are there? And there's 12 horror movies on Netflix at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously that's going to be it's a numbers game. I mean, of course that many people are going to see it, but that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm saying, like, when you're saying that Art the Clown's a new Freddy Krueger, A Nightmare on Elm Street has a plot. It has characters. It's a fucking movie. Terrifier isn't a movie. Terrifier is a special effects demo reel.
It's kind of hard to actually have a plot where the killer doesn't say a single word the entire movie.
And people just keep popping up out of nowhere in that movie. They just keep adding people.
Main character, like, the last 15 minutes introduce like more people. It's just bad writing. Like, I really hope that they take all that extra money, because they funded $115K. It's probably going to go way higher.
They still have 40 days left on it too.
By the time it's over, what are they going to do with that money? Like, how much could they actually dump into that movie? I hope that they hire a writer to write an actual fucking script for the movie, because I don't want Terrifier 2 to be bad. I would love if it was good. I want more horror movies. But
Listen. I mean, when it comes down to it, Art the Clown makes Pennywise look like Krusty the Clown. Okay, I mean, let's face it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's I get what you're saying, Mike. It's how could anyone love a movie that is just so poorly written? And the fact is that if Art the Clown were to star in Party Night 2, people would flock to go fucking see it because it's Art the Clown. Like, we're at a point right now where people don't care about what the movie's about. The performance of Art the Clown and the fact that he's so iconic, people want to see this movie. But he is, though.
He
I'm trying to understand the appeal of it, because there are 1,000 fucking movies about homicidal clowns.
Yes.
And there's no difference between them. This one just happened to have better special effects than most.
I think.
But he doesn't do anything.
Maybe it's an enigma because I don't understand it either. But it seems like anytime he dresses up in makeup at a convention, there are like lines out to the door.
Yes.
For photo ops.
Now, when we go to cons, Mike, because we all go to cons and we all go to see our filmmaker friends, to support them, to see what movies are playing if they have a film festival. Then there's the other side of the conventions where the people who watch Netflix or watch AMC's The Walking Dead go specifically to see their favorite characters. And that's where, and because David is just so charismatic with his fan base, and that it's just continuously growing and growing. And he's like I said, I mean, he's an icon to these people. He's an icon to the younger generations, and we're all sounding like like these like grumpy old critics who are just like, there's better movies out there, but we don't understand why you're watching this. And I think it's because there's the fans have spoken, that the masses have spoken. They want Art the Clown.
Well, so again, Brian, with your point, I don't disagree that obviously the younger generation is latching on to this because it's the new horror franchise, or it's about to become the new horror franchise for them. But the critics, like, we're looking back at movies. I mean, let's say Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween. And you guys know how I feel about a lot of those movies too. As much as I don't particularly care for a lot of those movies, they at least had a cookie cutter plot. Like, there is more artistry in those old movies than there is in this. Like, Terrifier is like one of the last Final Destination sequels, where it's like it's a porno where they don't have sex. It's just violent set pieces.
Yes.
Like, we're only here to see how people die in Final Destination like 17 or Saw 12. That's how Terrifier felt to me. They didn't even have the pretense of setup. And I think that it's just lazy filmmaking. I think that's the problem that I have with all of this, is it's just, I don't understand why. Not even saying like compared to other indie movies. I mean in just movies in general, like, we shouldn't accept plotless crap. We should be pushing for movies that have stories and characters.
Substance.
Like the Monster Squad.
The Monster Squad is, and I hate the Monster Squad, but it's an infinitely better movie than Art.
I'm kidding.
But I mean, seriously, like, Terrifier was a chore to sit through.
It was. I watched it last night. One-time watch at best. I couldn't. It's so boring.
And we've talked about this. Like, Terrifier.
I must be a little bit like less bullish than you guys.
Like we all agree.
I enjoyed it for what it was, but yeah.
My biggest problem with it is, if you're saying that Art the Clown's an icon, he doesn't even have a fucking trademark like MO. He literally just does random stuff. Like the beginning of the movie.
And has a trash bag full of weapons.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like,
he makes like a medieval flail out of scalpels. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I can get behind this. This is, of course, after the completely nonsensical talk show opening that still to this makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
But here's the thing about Art the Clown.
He goes to a pizza shop.
Yes.
There's just two random chicks there.
It happens.
And he comes back, writes his name in shit on the wall, which is the first indicator of what type of movie this is going to be. And then, so the first thing he does is like pulls a Michael Myers and carves his face as a jack-o'-lantern. I'm like, okay, that's something. There's no reason for it, but whatever. Then he just walks into a building, and then the next hour and 30 minutes unfolds where people that just are in this building for some reason get killed, but he just does weird shit. He skins one person. He stabs another. He hits him with a hammer. Then he, like, torments a homeless woman for, like, 25 minutes for some reason. And then he pulls out a gun and shoots somebody. Then shoots himself, and then it comes back to life. And it's like, what the fuck is this? It's like they put 7 scripts in a blender and then drank it and shit it out, and that's what the movie is. It's like
but people love it. People love because Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger,
Yeah,
they all had very safe, similar type kills. Where you have Art the Clown in this new generation, he's rubbing shit on the walls. You know, he's got a pistol in the trash bag that he just pulls out and surprises the lead female. He wears somene's
hold on,
skin.
back there for a second, Brian. You said lead female, but you don't know what the fuck her name is because she's not a character.
I see. That's the thing. Like, I didn't know.
They basically get stranded and go into fucking house.
What I did notice of the film was the performance that David gave as Art the Clown. And that is what everyone wants. They want Art the Clown. And like I said, you can put Art the Clown in Party Night 2 or Toxic Zombies 2 or like you can put him in any of those movies. People are still going to see it because they believe he's an icon.
I will give it that.
And he's available on Netflix. And people don't want to strafe away from Netflix because they are comfortable with it.
It's the creep factor, I think, that is what is driving people to his character.
Yes. And people will pay money. They will pay ridiculous amounts of money to be a part of whatever is happening next with Art the Clown. And you're absolutely right, Mike. There are a ton of indie horror movies that are coming out that could definitely use the support that Terrifier 2 has got. Definitely. But they don't, because they don't have Art the Clown.
Because people are willing to drop money on derivative crap, and that's the problem with this whole scene.
Yes.
The stuff that should be supported is not being supported, and people just want the same generic crap over and over and over again.
Yes.
So damn frustrating. And that's not just the indie world, that's the mainstream horror too. And I'm not saying that I have a solution to it. I'm not going to say I'm going to make a better movie. I'm just saying it's annoying to sit.
I'll just remake it. That's what they think.
Yeah, why don't we just remake Terrifier and reboot it? I'll be behind that. Let's reboot Terrifier.
What they should do is they should release it in theaters. They should find a way to release it worldwide in theaters to save the theater, experience, and not just make it all about comic book movies. But I don't know. That's something that you can throw a wrench into. I mean, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Because the theater world is being bought out by, or being beaten by, video on demand, and everything is video on demand anymore. No one wants to get up and go to a movie theaters. They're comfortable with the sanctuary of their own home, and people are comfortable with the sanctuary of Netflix. They don't want to venture off.
I saw Toy Story 4 the other day, and it was wonderful in the theater.
I saw Child's Play, the remake, in the theater, and it was wonderful.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go see it Saturday, so I'm looking forward to it.
It's such a great movie. I really loved it.
Yeah, you need to see Brightburn too, Brian.
Listen,
I know.
Listen, Mike, I have a hard time trusting your judgment because it's all over the place, just like Terrifier. Maybe that's why you have such a problem with it, because you guys butt heads, because it's all over the place. You're all over the place.
But
I think it's a really badly written movie. I think that's the.
It is. It's not. Was it written, or what did they just film?
It looks like something that I would have put in a notebook in high school study hall. Like, hey, here's 12 cool ways that we could kill someone in a movie, and then forgot to fill in the gaps.
You're describing every sequel to Friday the 13th.
Brian, I'm not saying I'm not. You know, I don't like slasher movies for this exact reason. At least those movies had characters and stories. At least they had like the basic premise.
Yes.
No, what's the synopsis of
Friday the 13th had a formula.
A clown walks into a building and kills people.
I would have loved for Jason Voorhees to smear shit all over the walls, like his mother's name or something like that. That would have been great.
Why would Jason ever do that? Jason,
I don't know. He misses his mother. And we got a whole bunch of fan films out there about it, and NECA can't even produce a line of toys.
Are we sure if he's even literate?
We can assume some of these things because Jason has a backstory.
Right.
Yes.
Which I thought was like that's the key of the slasher formula. I thought that the fans want the mythos, and I see someone in the comments here said, didn't the director say they're going to explain it in the second one? Well, when he wrote the first one, he didn't know there was going to be a fucking second one.
True.
So you need to make sure that you're not pulling a Saw and backtracking and filling in your plot holes with spackle. You can't do that. You need to write a complete movie.
Hey,
What-
Carrie Elwes makes great spackle. Okay.
What happened in All Hallows Eve? I've never watched that one.
It's based. It sounds like the plot for Terrifier 2. It was these two kids that were being babysat, and a clown came after them. I think that's the same
It's like a 15
premise.
minute short.
Yeah, yeah. It's not bad. I mean, it's a good little anthology movie.
On our page, and I posted a picture of art yesterday and asked what people thought. And I mean, again, it's mixed. Our fans and my friends are mixed about this movie. So
there's so many people that are like, that movie is shit, or they're like, okay, it's fun to watch because the effects are good, but no one.
Or they comment with the fucking direct tagline of the movie.
What's that?
One of the people that commented on it said, makes Pennywise look like Krusty. They commented with that. It's like, come on, man, why use the tagline?
Yeah.
Do we have any other comments from Facebook while we're on the subject?
Yeah, we can go over here. Let me go over. We got Seth T. Miller. Have a lot of people claim that DVD perk. Yes, they're all gone. Frankie Carter.
Gone.
Frankie Carter. Frankie Carter's got a point. It's not just Netflix. They see him on Facebook and Instagram. Social media is big, especially with Art the Clown. And there's a lot of people cosplaying as Art the Clown. Makeup tutorials, and even go to conventions where you see tables, special effects artists they can dress your kid up for $25 to look like Art the Clown.
Now that would be kind of cute, but yeah, I don't think I would do it.
It's cute, and then you give Mr. Hanky the Christmas poop, and they rub their name all over the walls of the of the Showboat Casino. So I mean, it works out.
So some of my comments on my Facebook, Renee Rivas put up a GIF of a guy going like that, in which Nathan Thomas Milliner came on and had a whole comment. But Renee says, "Don't get me wrong, it was fun, and I winced a few times, but a great horror film is much more than shock and awe." He's not wrong.
No.
But yeah, Lex Quinn says, "Yep, David is the best and only reason to watch it. They shouldn't give him anything interesting to do. It's just mindless, brutal violence." Yep. That's from our very own Lex Quinn, or Mike's very own Lex Quinn, I should say. Honey. But that's from my personal Facebook page. If anybody didn't, I didn't get to speak on how I felt about the movie.
Go for it, because I gotta grab my phone.
Grab your what?
I gotta grab my phone.
Oh, I thought you said son. I was like, get another baby while you were gone?
Yeah, I want another baby.
He's got a baby arm down there, I think.
Yeah, he does. Let's see. Some of our fans, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to read a couple comments.
Go for it.
All Hallows Eve was way better. Justin Bevan, one of my favorites, whenever he comments, said big letdown when compared to an excellent short film, which I guess he's talking about All Hallows Eve.
Yeah.
Great slasher movie villain. Not for the faint of heart. Crazy clown for sure. Let's see.
We're definitely not dogging his performance at all. I mean,
no, David's performance is really good. It was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, David did a fine job, and I don't have any personal grudge against these people.
Danny Neely says, "Garbage movie. Hated the first. Not gonna waste time on it for the sequel." This guy says, Glenn Mahal, "The real fans have spoken. Can't raise that kind of cheddar if the first one sucked." And then, hold on.
That's what this movie is proving, that you can.
Justin Bevan says, "The first one did suck, though. Art was a cool character, but they kind of ruined him in the movie. The short film was much better." And then this other guy goes on to talk about how the effects are great. And one guy, Brandon Lee, came back from the grave to say trash.
Brandon.
Where are these comments at?
On our Facebook page.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I'm not seeing these.
Yeah, I posted it last night and asked people to comment on it. We got a bunch of comments, and which I love getting comments. I just posted a GIF that says "Garbage Day" because it's the best one ever.
Did Terrifier make our top 100?
It did not. Terrifier. I'll find it. Give me a minute. It's in the bottom where it belongs. Let's see.
I mean, there's stuff that I love about the movie. I mean,
well, the thing is, some of the movies that are below it are. It doesn't belong with some of the movies that it's with.
The girl hanging upside down scene was probably one of the gruesomest scenes I've seen in a horror movie in
You
a
need
while.
to come up with something better than calling it the scene, because it's
Catherine something Corcoran getting sawed in half from the lips to the lips.
Yeah, Terrifier is number 238 on our top 300.
238 out of 300.
Yeah, right above House 2 and Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2. Right below Curse of Chucky and Last Shift. So
I liked Last Shift. That was a good movie.
I did too. I thought that was great.
I still have yet to see it. Which one is that? Is that the Australian movie?
No, it's
I'm thinking the Last Drive-In. Last Shift with the woman who is seeing ghosts in the
police station on the last night it's open.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good. I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, I liked it. It had some good jump scares in there. You need a movie with good jump scares, not bad jump scares every 5 minutes.
We got another comment. Terrifier 2. Let's see where they're going with this. Remember, Freddy doesn't get good until Nightmare on Elm Street. You, sir, are wrong. The first Nightmare on Elm Street movie was amazing.
Yes. Freddy is only good in the first and the second one.
What are you talking about?
Yes.
TV
he was the best one.
Oh man, Dream Warriors is such a shit movie.
I'll wait and see how the next movie is and where it's going to go, but I do think this movie is boring and didn't offer a lot as far as plot goes. Sure, the kills were good, except for him shooting somebody. That really bothered me.
I loved it. I thought that was nice little.
He got annoyed, so he shot her. It's like, you know what?
That's a little.
I thought it was kind of a move, considering he used different weapons the entire movie. He's like, "Oh, but I got a gun."
Yep, and that's just slashers don't do that shit.
You didn't think he was going to do that, but he just pulls out a fucking gun.
And you know what? I didn't want him to do that.
He did.
You know, chasing them down with a knife or whatever.
He pulled out a gun and he got $116,000.
You guys are making me want to watch this goddamn movie.
I gotta watch it again. I don't know what happened.
I just people keep asking me what I think of it. You know what I say?
When he pulls the gun, people are like, "Oh, that's bullshit. That's out of character." And I say, "What character?" Like,
how do you know it's character? It's out of the slash.
He could turn into a purple dinosaur in the middle of that movie, and it wouldn't make a fucking difference. Because there's no backstory or precedent set for anything he does, so it doesn't fucking matter.
That's true, I guess. Yeah.
Well, Mike, he does rub his name in shit on the bathroom walls.
So. Why though? What is the point of any of that?
Are we sure that's his name, or is he just making art and putting?
Because he did that because he's obviously a New Yorker.
It's postmodern artwork. There, it's all called art.
I like to think when I first saw that. In that scene I was watching with Lex, I'm like, I hope that this is a meta joke about the movie's quality. And then like an hour later, I'm like, oh God, maybe it is.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. So anybody out there, tell us what you think of Art the Clown and what's the movie called? Why do they call it Terrifier?
Even the title's bad. What the fuck kind of
name? A fucking word, right?
This is just the enigma of the horror community, in my opinion. There's just no.
You know, if they would have been true horror fans, they would have named it a holiday, like Mother's Day or some shit. Oh, they can't do that.
I'm gonna make a movie called Spookifier, or
I'm gonna make a movie called Us 2.
No,
the two of us. That's what you
the two of us. Starring Kirstie Alley and Lindsay Lohan, right?
Just the two of us. So we beat this horse dead enough yet?
I don't know. I think $116,000 worth of fan funding says we're going to be on this for another few years.
Right. Have you watched this yet?
No, I got my copy though, and I'm really excited.
Oh, I'm so excited! I instead of watching this last night, I watched this.
Did you see what the DVD art that's not the slipcase looks like?
Yeah,
it's a tad more graphic, we'll say.
Let me see.
Are you talking about this?
No, the other side. It's not the same as the 3D. Look at it closely.
Is there a nip?
There's more than that.
Wait, lift it up.
You won't be able to see on the thing, but there's it's pretty damn graphic.
What's in there? I can't see it. Oh, okay.
I don't see
it?
anything.
There's some straight up cheesecake there.
Look right next to her tits.
Oh, what is that? Is that a dildo?
There is yeah. That cover is I was like, wait, I pulled it out. What's that?
It's not that. Is it really?
You can see vagina in the actual.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's snatch on that. I'm like, whoa.
Oh no, I thought that looked like underwear to me, but
no, there's underwear.
You can see it's true. He's not wrong.
No, he's
straight up vagina on that cover.
Yeah, they covered it up more on this one. Man, Blue Underground just kills it with everything.
I was like, holy shit, that's really
that really wasn't a vagina, just so you know.
There was vagina and nip on the interior art. I was like, wow, that's unnecessary, but okay.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice the nipple.
So
it happens.
Speaking of Lucio Felucci, our friend Ray here finally watched Don't Torture a Duckling.
Oh yeah. What do you think?
Never seen that.
Terrifier's better. No.
I was gonna say I'm about to fucking get up and leave.
No, man. No, it was a great movie. Jared didn't call it a horror movie, but
it's a giallo.
I could still feel it. I liked it. I liked the ending, although I knew midway through what was going to happen.
Yeah,
I will admit that. I really, really liked it. It's got to be one of Fulci's best movies.
It is his best movie. It's not my favorite of his, but from a technical standpoint, it really is. Like it's very layered. There's a lot going on, a lot of subtext.
You're all wrong. Fulci's best movie is Zombie 3. All right.
I mean, he's not wrong.
That's right. I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong.
Never wrong.
Oh, wait, we got a cool comment here. The Crybaby Syndicate from Frank Carter.
Oh, it's probably. I think Frank probably donated $100 to get a Blu-ray.
I'm sure he didn't.
He's a smart man. He got the coffee mug. Come on. I feel really bad for people that paid $80 for the signed script because it's just going to be an empty envelope.
It's going to be. Hey man, I'm actually interested in seeing how this one goes. I mean, that's a lot of donuts to make a scene. Just make one scene in the movie.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that money how much of that money is gonna go to the scene?
Exactly.
What's it gonna be? What the hell?
And then when the movie comes out in a year and a half, if it's a letdown,
listen, Mike, I don't want to hear it when you see Tim Curry get rolling across the screen and then getting set on fire in the new Terrifier 2 movie. Okay, that's where the money went.
I don't understand what the hell they could even spend $50,000 for a single death scene or sequence. I don't know what the hell it could possibly be that would need to have that much money.
Like,
especially if the movie was greenlit and funded already with the script without that scene being possible, which means it's totally fucking unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
Which leads me to believe further that this is not going to be a movie, but yet again another sequel, like set piece after set piece, with nothing in between.
And even the director said the movie could have been filmed adequately already.
Yes. So.
Like the movie The Void that came out a couple years ago, it had been completely funded, but they did a small Indiegogo campaign for special effects.
Mm-hmm.
I think they raised like $45,000, but that was, just for special effects throughout the whole movie.
That was full-on creature effects too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Art the Clown does not need $45K.
Well, you don't know. He might be a creature.
You don't know. He may need a scene where he's holding a duffel bag full of ones and fives. Okay,
he may be a wolf cop.
$116,000 worth of it.
It's true. He could turn into a monster. I mean, that would be really cool if he did. That'd actually be really neat.
Yeah,
but
this could be the prequel to Twisted Metal, the movie. Art the Clown is secretly Sweet Tooth. I don't know.
Actually, Art the Clown is the Phantom of the Paradise.
I haven't thought of Twisted
Metal. Art the Clown looks like the Sweet Tooth mask with black lipstick on. I don't know if anyone noticed that.
Oh, from Twisted Metal?
Yeah.
I haven't thought about. Yeah, Jared just said I haven't thought about that game in forever.
So, but I'm excited that Terrifier 2 was able to get the green light, was able to get funding before the campaign. and was able to make a little bit more money. I think that, you know, David Howard's Thornton's performance alone as Art the Clown is something that the horror culture needs. You know, because we've had a lot of you know, horror icons that haven't necessarily, you know, broken any walls. I mean, how many reboots do we have of like horror movies? I mean, we have Chucky that came back, and I'm not saying that it was a bad movie or a good movie. I haven't seen the movie, but we're remaking these characters where art is something that's you know, original.
He's not though. There are 1,000 movies like this. That's what I keep trying to say.
But
we're not remaking something.
But no, here's what I'm saying. He is original to a lot of people because they're not into horror movies, and because of the Netflix thing. People don't want to migrate from Netflix. They're happy with Netflix. They see something on Netflix.
That's all fine and good, Brian, but he's not an original character. He's just a completely stock generic killer clown. I'll tell you, man, as a film fest judge, this year I have judged probably 20 movies about homicidal clowns of varying qualities. I'll tell you, it's so fucking overplayed. And that's just in the film fest queues. That's not even the last 30 years of horror movie history.
But the people who watch Terrifier aren't watching these films in the film festivals.
I'm not telling them not to like Terrifier. That's fine. You know better. So we cannot say it's an original like horror icon that the horror community.
I'm not saying it's original. I'm saying it's original to a lot of people.
So a lot of people don't have the knowledge of horror cinema to know how derivative it is.
See, that's where I go back to the idea that the basic horror fans are leeching on to some new character that they can fall in love with.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Just
true.
it's
not being a basic horror fan is not necessarily a good thing though, because they won't reach out and try something different. And this is not different from this, essentially.
Yeah. You go to Spencer's and you see the same 4 or 5 horror icons over and over again. And you know, Pinhead, well, you'll see the least amount of, but you see Jason, you see Freddy, you'll sometimes see Ghostface, you'll see Chucky, no matter where you go in this world, and he may have Tiffany with him, but and then of course you'll get Pennywise, but you know, there's a lot of, you know, things going on right now where, you know, people are looking for someone new. I mean, the puppet from Saw, it only went so far, and now Art the Clown is something new and refreshing for a lot of people.
Maybe we shouldn't be looking for someone new. We should be looking for something new. Maybe we should put the 80s to bed and let them die. Let it die. Let it go. It existed that decade. It made some great movies. Let's move forward.
Kill fast.
Different things. Let's stop homaging it. Let's stop making pastiches.
It's time to start homaging the 2000s. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Why don't we reference, like, I want to make something that references Scream or Urban Legend or I Know What You Did Last Summer, you know? The classics.
Or Valentine.
Yeah.
Why can't we just make a remake of
House on Haunted Hill,
Candyman?
but only the remake.
But only the remake.
Make a remake of Candyman. That's something new.
I mean, I want to make a remake of Phantom of the Paradise. That movie's out of control, by the way.
I think that there is a remake of that coming out, isn't there?
Oh, Christ. Of course there is.
I heard. I think someone was talking. Maybe they're saying they wish there was. I don't know.
I want to make a remake.
A hard movie to remake. That would be.
I'm remaking The New York Ripper, by the way.
I'm remaking Eaten Alive with Mitch McConnell swimming in the pool in the hotel. That's going to be my movie. He'll be the alligator.
I want to pose a weird question because I know we're running a little bit here.
Oh, it's okay.
How about like the last 10 years? Is there a movie that you would like to see a sequel to?
Last 10 years?
Last 10 years.
I would love to see a sequel to You're Next, except spelled Y-O-U-R.
Yes, You're Next. I was actually thinking of the same movie because I love that movie, but it doesn't need a sequel. It's a good standalone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only saying sequel because I've got a good idea in mind, but
the last 10 years, so 2009 and up. I'd like to see a sequel to It.
I would like to see a sequel to Terrifier.
That's a good question, Jared. Mike, what about you? Sequel to I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday?
No. Actually, Damien Maffei keeps trying to get me to make a sequel to that. He wants to
Because technically his character survived, right? Technically,
we don't know.
We don't know what happened to his character.
We don't know what happened.
I'm actually writing a 6-hour miniseries I'm going to pitch to Netflix about the story of what happened to him, because it's totally necessary. People
okay, I got 2 movies. They're both independent movies. Sorry.
How much money do you need, Mike?
About $116K. You got it?
Listen. I got 2 movies I'd like to see sequels to. Night of Something Strange. I'd like to see a sequel to that because I really like
it's happening.
That is happening. You're right. And then Pool Party Massacre, Drew Marvick's movie. I'd like to see sequels to those.
Going indie
because I can't think of anything else, and they're right there on my wall. Anything from the last 10 years, anyway. That hasn't already gotten a sequel, because it's like anything made from like 1980 on that gets a sequel almost automatically.
I'm just saying, because there's not a lot of movies that stick out in the last 10 years that you like.
Sleeper. I'd like to see Sleeper get a sequel. How about that?
Honestly, I can't say there's any movies that want sequels to, because I don't think that most movies need sequels. I don't like franchises. I don't think they're necessary.
Will there be a Child's Play Part 2?
I mean, I guess there could be. I don't think that they should, because I mean, if they had the same course.
Would it be Child's Play 2 spelled T-O-O?
Well, that's like who's talking to.
Right, exactly.
No, I mean, I think a solid movie, you watch it and then you leave the audience wanting more. Like, don't ruin the franchise, or don't ruin, don't run it into the ground like they did with the fucking Hellraiser movies and stuff. Just like, I mean, I love the first 4, so I guess I can't even say that, but it's like if you make something great, that's awesome. Move on. Yeah. Make something else. Don't keep banking on the same fucking thing over and over again. Like,
sometimes
unless you have a story that really needs to be told, do something else.
Like it.
But that's the idea, though. Sometimes you want the story to continue because you're just left at a point where, like, you loved it so much.
Hey, we got a couple comments, guys.
Real quick. I want a sequel to The Last American Virgin. The way that movie just ended, it was just nonsense, and it shouldn't have happened. So there needs to be a sequel to Last American Virgin.
All right, how about this? Tucker and Dale 2, and Milliner says, "I want a Mandy sequel. Where does Red go from here?"
Oh,
well, so Tucker and Dale's a brilliant movie.
LOL, he said. LOL.
But would that work again? Like that?
I thought they were doing that. Actually, going to do that though. I thought I heard something.
Well, the only part of Tucker and Dale, I think that movie falls apart in the last act when they reveal the backstory with the rich kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it starts to fall apart. Like before that setup was so fucking good.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then they started doing that shit. I'm like, oh, come on, like don't do that. Even Leslie Vernon, like there's the sequel to that. I love that movie, but I don't necessarily want it again. I mean,
didn't that project fall apart?
Well, there is a comic.
Nathan's doing the comic. He's drawing the comic, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just that wasn't a story. Like, I don't want to know more about that character. I love what they did. That little contained universe. There was questions left unanswered, and that was great. It gave me something to think about, and I think it's cool. Like, I don't know. I'm an outlier. I'm a weird one on this one.
No, I agree with you, especially Leslie Vernon. That movie is just wonderful on its own.
But I am excited to read the comic. Like, I want to know more. I do. And
Miller just said the comic sequel rocks. Go figure.
Yeah. I think if there was going to be a sequel to Mandy, it's going to be Nicolas Cage as Red, convinced that he's a vampire, screaming the alphabet as therapist. Okay, so that would be the sequel to that.
Can he wear a cougar shirt this time?
Vampire.
As long as he screams, "I'm a vampire" repetitively over and over.
And then it's supposed to be "I'm a vampire," interspersed with moments where he goes, "Bees," or
yeah,
or from the Wicker.
Or he wears like a really bad toupee and a mustache, and
has a prosthetic hand.
So a good example of this is Bubba Hotep, which is my favorite movie. They were trying to do a second one for that, and I'm like, when I fell apart, I was so happy. I'm like, don't sequelize that. You can't take that story and do it again. Like, you're just gonna have a bad copy of the original, and that's what most of these movies are.
There's strange writing on the shithouse walls, man.
Yeah,
John dies at the end again.
The John dies at the end books are just nonsense, and I mean, I like them, but they're just gibberish, and they don't really tell a coherent story. So I guess they're more like vignettes. So
I know mine would be a little unpopular, but a story that I would like to see a continuation of is Frankenstein's Army.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I really love that movie.
That's probably the best horror movie within the last 10 years. My opinion. I know it's shit.
No, I mean, I love how creative they got with all the crazy monsters and stuff like that. Really surprised me. If it wasn't
streaming anywhere, because I still haven't seen that one.
Really?
No,
Yeah, I haven't come across it.
It's on Shudder, I believe.
Let me check here. I'm on Shudder currently.
You
I hear good things about it, but
the special effects are great. The only thing I don't like about it is that it was found footage and it doesn't quite make sense. It didn't need to be that.
Yeah, it didn't need to be.
But
I didn't know they had HD video cameras in World War II.
yeah,
come on.
I mean, it's alternate history, so
There you go. Harry Turtledove must have wrote it.
Yeah.
But that's the one I was kind of thinking of when I posed that question, because that like you were saying, Brian, like it was original, but it was like, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's the best movie in the last 10 years, maybe, but
you know what? You know what Nazi movie is getting a sequel? Iron Sky. Are you excited for that?
Really? That's about
time.
It's been like 7 or 8 years since that fucking movie came out.
God, it's such a good movie, especially when
you know what I want. You know what
they
I want.
play Pink Floyd during the battle scene at the end. I love it.
Do you know what movie I want a sequel to is Overlord? Because then maybe something that they fucking promised would actually happen in the damn movie.
I still haven't seen it yet because
or they could just make a Wolfenstein movie officially and stop making all these fucking derivative alternate history things instead.
Right. I still haven't seen Overlord because I was worried I would find it lackluster compared to Iron Sky.
It was very lackluster. But like on that tangent, like Wolfenstein, the new games, like the New Order, was a phenomenal game. And I'm like, wow, you guys really fucking elevated this. This is incredible. And then they made the second one, and I was like, what the fuck did you do? You made this beautiful stew, and then you just took a big shit in it. And now
talking about the new Blood or the second one?
Did they rub their name and shit on the walls?
But it's like they're ruining it. Like it's just like, just let it go. Like if there's something to be said about making a really excellent something and then walking away.
You're not talking about New Blood. You're talking about 2.
No, New Blood was the expansion. That was great.
Yeah. But you're talking about 2.
Yeah, the new Colossus. Now they're doing Young Blood, which is a $30 game, which is really boding well for the quality, I'm sure. And then there's another one coming out too, and it's like, just stop. You're rehashing the same thing over and over again. I don't want to play this again. Like, get out.
Speak about rehashing classic games. Resident Evil Code Veronica is only $9 on the PlayStation Network.
Yeesh.
Oh, yay. Love Code Veronica.
Lex Quinn says that she hates Code Veronica.
No!
Yeah.
We have it on record that Lex Quinn hates Code Veronica.
No!
You know, now that you mentioned Wolfenstein, Mike, some of the character like monsters in Frankenstein's Army remind me of Wolfenstein.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a derivative of whatever. Mike's been using that word a lot today.
So there
Do
was
you have
a
word of the day toilet paper, Mike?
Wait, hold on. I didn't hear a word you said. What did I use?
You have derivative. You've been using derivative a lot today.
Oh, I'm gonna make it what we call the Derivifier.
Do you have word of the day toilet paper? Today's word was derivative, right?
I think so. We have an Ollie's here in New Jersey. I don't know if you guys have an Ollie. So there was one point where Manborg and Frankenstein's Army.
$5 and the 2-disc of Eaten Alive. The Tony
they were all $2 at our Ollie's.
Oh, and Super, the James Super. Yeah. I bought all of them for like under $10, and I was.
It was IFC, right? IFC was just like, get rid of these movies, but they were gold. I mean, if you were a vendor, like at a horror con, you could have picked up on this and sold those movies for $25 each, profit.
Why the fuck would you do that? I would have bought them and sold them for $100. Yeah. People will pay that now.
Only if you make me a mug, okay? And you sign it. I Mike Lombardo, want a Monster Squad sequel.
Hold on. You didn't use his correct name.
Oh, award-winning director. I can't fit all that on a cup.
You got to.
So,
I fit it on a cup.
Seth T. Miller says he'd like to see Stakeland 3. I didn't see the second one, but I love the first one.
There's a Stakeland 3?
There's a second one.
Oh, I didn't see that. I heard it was very like Mad Max meets like Stakeland 1.
It's on Netflix, I think.
You know what they should make a sequel to? Speaking of vampire movies, John Carpenter's Vampires. Like, imagine if they did a second one and put like Bon Jovi in it or something.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because
How cool would that be?
we don't want James Woods.
Los Muertos.
I want a sequel to this.
Dolls.
I've
They
never
made
seen
a
this.
sequel, Demonic Toys.
But I've never seen this. You know what? This is not a Full Moon movie, right? But it's made by the same people, right?
It was back when they had money. It was like the Empire Pictures or whatever.
Yeah.
Right after he made that after Reanimator, I think. It's very well made. It's not like it's I don't know. It's very.
I've been told to watch this for a few years now, so I finally got.
No Dolly Dearest.
Yeah, no, it's no Dollar General. That's for damn sure. Speaking of toilet paper, that's what I used my VHS copy of that movie for.
Of Dolls?
No, Dolly Dearest. Dolls is a fine movie. It's not my favorite. It's a little too like. It's more like a fairy tale. It's not very gory or anything. I was expecting different from Stuart Gordon, but it's decent.
Well, now that
So,
Jared's finished Puppet Master, I got to watch them all.
We're 11:30. Do we want to have any final thoughts on Terrifier?
No, not final thoughts on that, but we can share final thoughts on something else.
Oh, let's talk about the Blob.
Oh yeah, let's touch on the Blob real fast. Let's touch on the Blob.
Yeah.
Guys, we don't have to touch up on me. Even though I'm sitting right here, we don't have to talk about me, okay?
So I was at work today, doing what I normally do, look at Facebook at work, and I saw like immediately that I am now a top fan of Scream Factory.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you're looking at a top fan of Scream Factory now.
Oh, I heard that Mike's a top fan of Twilight Time.
I am.
Especially after today.
Fan of the Twilight Time version
Oh,
of
yeah, Mike, did you see that before I tagged you in it?
No, I didn't.
You're looking at a top fan here.
Yeah.
You're looking at a top fan.
I'll tell you, I'm a top fan of this hefty price tagged Blu-ray that I bought. Not quite as expensive as Terrifier 2, but not too far off. From a company that said it would never get re-released in any form.
I
And
know.
that's the only way you would ever get the Blob on Blu-ray. So like a fucking chump, I forked over a paycheck for it, and here we are. Scream Factory has it, and they're putting out with like a shit ton of extras, so I had to buy it a second time.
You may have to try to see if you can unload it before it releases.
It's worth like $10 now. I already checked.
Twilight Times version?
It was going for like $600. Like,
Dude, yeah, there's no
Oh,
way.
so Mike, I'm gonna buy that from you for $10.
No, I want that. I mean, I got the DVD.
I know. I wager $9 because that extra
so
dollar I
this,
need.
just because the Scream Factory version will be the 4th copy of the Blob remake I have purchased in my life.
Don't you have the soundtrack on video cassette? Not video cassette.
Well, but I have
I love
the
the
soundtrack on cassette. I also
Whip it out.
I also have the novelization that's very rare. You're looking at a top fan of the Blob remake here.
So what you're saying is you prefer the Steve McQueen Blob over the 1988 movie.
Steve McQueen Blob was shot in front of my house.
Oh, really?
Phil Diner, or the Colonial Theater in the Downingtown Diner.
Yeah.
Blob fan. But
I didn't like the original.
I like the original is an important movie in horror cinema history, but I like.
It's in black and white, right?
No, it's color.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what color is the Blob, though?
It's red.
Okay, it's not green, because somebody at work was trying to convince me, I was scared of the Blob. I thought it was going to, if I touched slime, remember slime from the 80s, which it's back now apparently. Every time I touched slime, I thought it was going to be like the Blob and eat my whole body. And I was like, yeah, Blob's cool. Nice big pink or red mass. She's like, no, it was green. I was like, that's fucking flubber. That's not the Blob. That's flubber.
You might be thinking of the Ooze for Sega Genesis.
Well, both are disaster movies.
Yeah. I'm watching this tonight now, Mike, and I'm going to think of you the whole time.
I'm going to watch Flubber.
It's so fucking good. Like, here's the thing.
This is a good movie.
I'm super happy that this Blu-ray is coming out.
The Flubber.
When the Twilight Time one came out, it sold out in like 40 minutes, and everyone was really pissed off. And I was pissed, even though I got a copy. But I was like, this movie's amazing, and it needs, no one has seen it.
How much did you pay for it?
It was like, I want to say it was like $50 or $60.
Yeah, 50 to 60 is usually what they go for.
Twilight Time Blu-rays are fucking expensive. That the Fright Night one was like that too.
Yeah.
I think fucking Tom Holland started putting out his own copies of it. He's like, man, fuck this company. No one can get this movie now.
Hey, Mike, I got this last year sometime. Remember, Jared?
Yep, because
I
I got
really
the
like this
Twilight
movie.
Time version of that.
Yeah. And so I got this. I'm like, I need to have this movie on Blu-ray. My DVD looks like shit. And I told Jared, it was after a show one night that I bought it, because you guys always somehow convince me to buy fucking movies without, it's like subliminal. Anyway, I was like, I bet they never release this. And then I was like, you know what? As soon as I hit click, Scream Factory is going to release that. They're going to release it. Now they're releasing this. So I feel you're paying not as much, because this was only like $27, but still.
Yeah, but I'm really excited to see what extras they have on the Scream Factory one, because
Yeah.
Twilight Time has a commentary track with Chuck Russell, and that was really good. That was a good commentary. And then there's like a 30 or 40-minute Q&A from some they did some screening of it somewhere.
But this has interactive menus.
Yeah, well, yeah, those are really bad, like early 2000s animated menus.
Yeah,
With like the flashlight beams doing this. Oh, it's so bad.
love it.
But they said that they already recorded a bunch of extras for this, and I'm really excited to see. I'm hoping that they get some of the effects artists to talk about it, because there's very little information on the effects work in the Blob, and they pretty much have at least one scene demonstrating like every era of special effects, from stop motion to rear projection to like really, really early CG to, you know, like all the miniatures. Like, it's got everything, and it's fucking amazing. I love it so much, and I want it right now. But I pre-ordered it for $35 because Scream Factory charges $7 to ship a fucking Blu-ray. They can put it in envelope. And I got to get the poster. The poster, I want a Blob poster, so
Yeah, what do you think of that poster art?
5 fucking months from now, I'm gonna get us in the mail and be like, oh shit, I forgot I ordered this and paid for it.
For $35 and $7 shipping, Kevin Dillon should spit into a vial and give it to you.
Yeah,
He is.
dude, Scream Factory's getting out of control with their fucking prices, man.
Well, they've been like that for over a year, more than a year.
Yeah.
But the thing is, did you order it yet, Mike?
No, I did.
Okay, I went on there to order when they announced the Omen set. So I balked at the Blob to get the Omen set because it's limited to 2,000 pieces, and it's got this beautiful lithograph. That is what the box art is. So I had to get that. It was $63. I plan on getting the Blob. I don't think it's going to sell out like.
Well, they're only doing 500 of them, and I think there's a lot of people.
That's of the poster though, right? Just the poster at 500.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to get on there and do that. I get paid tomorrow, so I'll just.
It's such a great fucking movie. It really is.
I love it. I loved it when I was a kid, and I love it as
one of my favorites. I wore my VHS of that fucker out. Like, it's
I actually recorded it off of
first screenplays, and it's great because, you know, unlike some movies we've been talking about, it really does a lot with its characters, and it really throws some of the horror tropes on their heads. You know, you don't know what's going to happen. No one is safe in the Blob remake. It's great.
Yeah. Unlike the original Blob, where everyone was safe.
Steve McQueen was a badass in that.
Yeah. He was just like, I'm a teenager. Look at me. And we're like, no, you're not.
Blob is like the archetypal 50s movie where the characters were all kids and not adults. That was one of the first horror movies to have that. And then believe the Blob is a super important movie in horror history. I mean, it's so many movies ripped off of that after it came out, but the remake is just
pure horror.
It's like The Fly or The Thing. Like, it's such a great reimagining of it. Like, they really brought it, you know, like the Blob is like the best example of like the hyper violent 80s like effects heavy movies. I just fucking love it all around. And they kill the kids. You know, like they just it's wonderful.
I love a movie where they kill kids and rub shit on the walls.
I think you just love when they rub shit on the walls.
Yeah, dude. If you're gonna rub shit on the walls, you might as well go all out.
The script Terrifier 2 is written completely.
All right, guys, you ready to wrap it up for the evening?
Yes. All right. My name is Brian Enright. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Brian Enright. I think I got a hello from Will Smith on Facebook. So hello, Will. Shit. How are you?
Talking about just the two of us.
Yeah. We can make it if we try. Up next, we have Jared Letourneau. Jared, where can we find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at @zombie_survivor.
All right.
Good night, Fox.
Thank you very much, Jared. Up next, award-winning director.
There we go.
Mike Lombardo. Mike, good evening. I mean,
Yeah. Brian, glad to be here. What's the topic of today's discussion? Now that you've heard me talk shit about someone else's movie for 2 hours, you can go and watch my movie at Zootropolis Cinema Stillhouse in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, July 16th at 6 p.m. We're going to be doing a screening there with a cast and crew, so you can yell at me and say that Terrifier is great and I suck. And you can also go July 31st at the Circle Drive-In. They'll be playing White Doomsday along with Silent Night, Deadly Night, which is really cool. Unfortunately, I will not be there because I'm going to be at Scares That Care from August 1st to 3rd, where you can find me running the film festival where we're playing 35 movies that are better than Terrifier. Pittsburgh, Virginia. So come check it out.
Right.
all right. Thank you very much, award-winning director Mike Lombardo. And, of course, we have our president of the Horror Syndicate, Ray Merrick. Where can we find you?
You can find me drinking a fucking surge. Actually, you can find me on Instagram at Razor33 because that's where I like to post semi-nudes of myself if you'd like to see that. And when I say semi, I mean
Very titillating.
Exactly.
You go half Monty.
Yeah, half Monty. Well, you can't on Instagram. You can't go full. On Twitter, you can. Razor_33.
Ooh, that's
But starting July 10th, I'm running a Kickstarter on Unparalleled Comics for my comic, Nate Sloan's comic, and a few others. It's called Stellar Odyssey, and it's about it's just pictures of me naked, drawn though tastefully.
So it's like the New York cover, but with Ray.
Right, exactly. So come check that out.
Bisecting his ball sack instead of his vagina lips.
Yeah, exactly. Just like the New York. Actually, we're recreating that one as we speak. Jay's in the corner watching. Anyway, please check out Unparalleled Comics and help support the comic. Get funded. We're looking for 116,000.
At
least.
That's just for the one panel. It's going to be a really great
for one panel, and it's also payment for the video editor for the Kickstarter video. So anyway, thanks for joining us. I'm glad to be back on Facebook, Brian. I'm so happy you're back.
Yeah, no, me too. This was a fun episode. I'm glad that we all got to talk about things that Mike doesn't like, and of course, movies that are fully funded and still you could use $116,000 more. But thanks for joining us tonight, and I hope that we're going to see the rest of you guys next week when we talk about other movies that are being crowdfunded and such. If you do have a movie that you're trying to promote, get crowdfunded or anything, please email us at thehorrorsyndicate@gmail.com, or you can message us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But most likely we will probably get back to you immediately if you message us on Facebook or if you email us at thehorrorsyndicate@gmail.com. One of our interns will get back to you as soon as possible.
Intern I'm not sleeping with anyway.
They're not paid, so it might take a bit.
Apparently the president of the Horror Syndicate sleeps with the intern.
You know what? Bill Clinton was my idol, so you know what I mean.
This is why I'm not an intern. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.